One of the things that I look back and reflect on is the number of people, including myself, that in your 20s and 30s, you often feel like a failure, like you are not accomplishing what you should actually accomplish. Now I'm 46 years old. Doesn't mean that I don't feel like that every day. I just know it's pretty normal to feel like that. And, when you're going through it, the story that is told, and I think it's really a symptom of education and the way that we actually do education, is that, you think that there will be this sort of quick wins, then after a few months, you'll see great returns and you'll have understanding of the world. You're going to do spectacularly well. And that's what the messaging is often told on top of education, both within education, which I think is patently wrong, um, but also within popular culture. And I think it's compounding more, particularly with the use of the internet, broadly the internet. And what we're sort of seeing is that if we're not making an extraordinarily amount of money, um, then we haven't made it. We are, a disaster. As I went through my PhD, and it was years and years and years. I was 30 by the time I got my first real job. I was kind of living well below the poverty level for a long time. I had a wife that supported me, but psychologically it's very difficult to deal with. Um, and the dynamic, at least in my family, is that is a challenging thing. That's all I'm going to sort of say. Um, I think that the best thing that you can ever do is realize that that feeling that you have, that you're far behind, is actually the real thing. You're doing the real work, and people don't tell you that. And they think that the messaging is that there's something wrong with you, right? Like you are defunct, you have anxiety, depression, you have all these kind of things. In fact, it's just like the part of life that people never want to openly talk about. And if I say that there's many days where I do feel like wanting to give up, and I do think it's absolutely insane, doing many of the things that we do, but if you actually look at it, you're like, wait a minute, this is a collective phenomenon that everybody experiences and nobody wants to talk about it. It's like death, right? Like everybody is going to die. We have a 100% chance of dying, right? Like you are going to die. And we never want to talk about it openly, and we sort of hush hush it, and we sort of pretend like it doesn't exist. And in fact, you are going to die, right? Like the hard fact of this world is probably the hardest fact, is to realize you're going to die. And, if that's the case, right, there's two ways to take that. Is like, oh my gosh, never talk about it. Or another way is to normalize it and say, oh shit, I'm gonna die. I need to get working. I got so much stuff to do by the time that actually happens, right? And it's the same thing as normalizing. Yeah, there is a lot of grinding that goes on. The sort of story that's sold both in popular press and within the within education. So um, what I was saying is that in order for us to realize what we have to do, we have to first of all say, hey, this stuff is actually real life, right? Like, I want you to sort of give the perspective of 100 years ago. Most of us would have been dead by the time that you're 30. So it didn't matter, right? Like dealing with the ups and downs and all that kind of stuff, it's like, whatever, right? Didn't matter. Around the world, almost everybody would have been dead, particularly young men. They died a lot, um, for wars and all that kind of stuff. So for all of us, right, that are dealing with this new phenomenon of living for a long time, we need to normalize it and say, hey, wait a minute, this stuff is actually good stuff, right? Like we should be highlighting it and talking about it and saying, wait, it's just one step out of the, every day it's one step more. And it's going to take an awful long time. If you look at actual cycle times, and the reason why I know this, I I study business, right? And one of the facts is to double your money, it takes 7 years in the stock market. These are the best companies in the world, right? But put your money, first of all, to get into the stock market is very difficult to do. There are some private companies that are not part of it that are really good, but most of them, they're public companies, are really good. It's very difficult to actually do. And then when you invest in it, you're actually investing in the ones that are growing the most rapidly, often, if you're doing it properly. And it grows at 10% per year. So the best companies in the world are growing at 10% per year. And it takes 7 years to double your money. That means every single day you have to put up with shit, right? Like you have to get up, get going every single day and keep putting in the work and being embarrassed and feeling like you're stupid and, you know, doing crazy long hours some days when you have to, right? And not every day. I think that that is insanity to do that every day, but every once in a while or for a very short period of time for, a month, 2 months, 6 months, max, you are putting in crazy amounts of work and then you're trying to get your recovery from that, right? And just know that that's part of it. I mean, that's what it means to live in a modern world today, a modern being in 2025, or after the sort of period of when we all would have died, and just realize that that is just part of it, is the ups and downs, and mostly downs, right? More downs, where our mind is trained to focus on downs. Most of that is just you got to get up and get going and try and smile and have fun, really emphasize all those sort of positive things, but at the same time not be delusional and realize it's just grinding effort every day, and just say nuts to you if anybody else doesn't get it, they're not in it, they don't matter, right? And just take those steps every single day, one little day at a time, and ignore everything else, especially those that have never tried and they're sitting there watching you actually do the work. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.